What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happen in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update regularly, hit the like button now. And let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, since the H10 has been released, aftermarket parts for it are starting to roll out. One of the first ones that I saw were some wraps available from FreqEskinZ. He put up a number of styles already and more are likely on the way, but you can get these for your H10 full wrap for the hood, roof, and both sides. I believe also those rear wings and also the grille. Looks like some of these will work on either color of the panels, but if you get one that contrasts too much, might be worth shooting like some black paint on some of those parts before you wrap them. I've ran wraps from FreqEskinZ on a number of trucks in the past. Good vinyl, always holds up well. And when it's time to remove them, it's a good quality vinyl that you can remove and actually reapply a new one if you're after that. So if you're interested in picking up some wraps for your H10, I'll put a link to where you can find those in the description below. Another one that popped up, caught my eye, was from Fine Laser Designs, and he came up with a clipless style body mounting system for the H10. So you can reach in from the front side of the truck, pull on a little lever he's got, and release the battery door, getting rid of the pin and latch type system. Fine Laser Designs has made clipless body systems for a bunch of vehicles in the past. So I put a link to his website. You can check out the one for the H10 as well as the rest of his fleet of clipless body systems that maybe you might be interested in. Next, there was a teaser of a new vehicle coming from Cross RC. This is the AC6 6x6. This is a military kit version of one of their trucks. They have a lot of trucks that look very similar in a lot of ways, but being that it's military, there's a ton of options, and obviously a lot of times they do look somewhat similar, but Cross always does a great job on the military stuff or the heavy duty trucks, whatever it may be. So if you're looking for this specific version of whatever military truck this is actually trying to replicate, there you go. Also, while doing my weekly research, I noticed that on the top of Cross RC's actual website, they've got a big banner saying that the US distribution for Cross is changing and there may be some delays. I believe previously it was being distributed out of a hobby town in Oshkosh, and that was the case for quite some time, but it looks like that relationship is dissolving, or however that current arrangement has been dissolved. So things are going to be changing there. Not sure if they're going to go with one of the more typical distributors, somebody like HRP or AMain, even Horizon, who knows? But at this point, things are changing. They said that there could be delays, which is always the case with things like that. So if you're a Cross RC owner, maybe don't beat on your stuff too much until all of that gets sorted out so that your parts supply doesn't take forever to get to you to keep your trucks running. But if that's something that affects you, it's something to at least keep in mind. This Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, a live stream takeover with Matt and myself. This live stream is happening right before Matt and I both head to Colorado for the We RC Rock Nationals. We've been building buggies for that event for quite some time, and it's finally time to take them and put them on the course of the Red Rocks in Morrison, Colorado. Looking forward to it. I love competing there. It's somewhere I've competed many times over the past 15 years or so, and it's always a good time, especially with buggies. So come check in on that. And if you'd like to see even more about the buggies or the progress that goes along with them, channel membership for my channel is open. I post a good number of member-only videos behind the scenes, just kind of what's going on here at the channel with the builds, just little updates between videos or after projects, whatever it may be, just to give you a little bit more access or a little bit, more in depth on whatever is being put out on the channel regularly. So I appreciate all the support for the channel through that. It helps the channel a bunch, and I appreciate all of you who have joined, or maybe some of you who are considered joining. If that's something that interests you, you can find all the info needed in the link in the description below. Tekin recently made a post about something new they have coming that looks old, but it's on purpose. They've got some stickers printed that look like they're going to be redoing some of the vintage ESCs. I believe that the ESC that they're looking at here was popular in like late 80s, 90s range, but hopefully, or possibly what we're looking at is something that's going to have that vintage look, but have modern guts inside. For people that are into vintage RC specifically, I can see how this could be fairly appealing. I'm not all that into the vintage world, so I don't know if this is something that other companies are already doing. Some of the companies that were around in those days are no longer around, like Novak and other people that might have been around then. I don't know. I wasn't into RC that early, so if I'm missing somebody, it'd be interesting to know. But looks like Tekin is going to give those guys some specific support. Interested to see exactly what they put out. I believe that we're going to see information on that this coming Thursday. Over the weekend, there was a post by the USTE, the Ultimate Scale Truck Expo. And they were an event that were hosted down in Florida, and I believe that they had 8 years of events over the last 9 years. This year, nothing had happened for it. There was some, things were up in the air and just uncertainty. But a post was made over this last weekend saying that the event will not happen again. It's over, at least for those organizers in that current status, probably that name as it stands. It was a popular event down in Florida. The attendance numbers were quite large, big number of vendors, very, scale truck or in very scale ways. There was always a good amount of content that came out of there. You could see some really cool builds, everything from heavy equipment and semis and vintage buggies and monster trucks and, again, very scale vehicles. But it was announced that it has come to an end, and no further details were really posted on that post as far as from the organizers as to exactly why any of that had happened. If you had attended it in the past and had thought about going again, maybe you'll have to look at something else to fill your calendar in its place. I know a lot of people were saddened to hear that it won't be back, but best wishes to those that put in all of the effort to host it over the last 8 or 9 years. Speaking of extremely scale vehicles, MN Racing has come with the new MN 168. And this is not overly scale, but this is a 1/12 scale Range Rover from, I'm not all that familiar with this company. We covered one of their newer releases here earlier this year. I believe I saw Turks and Jerps do a video on the actual product through his Smiggins Folly home course, and some more information on it there. But that's really about all I've ever seen of the brand, other than when I had seen it, pop up on some press release stuff. So this does have like a portal axle to it, and I think the wheel got larger, but they tried to keep the same like range. It just looks super out of proportion to the rest of the vehicle, just the actual wheel size, not necessarily the wheel and tire. I don't know why. It looks like a Lego truck to me from further away. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the color choices or whatever it is, but this just reminds me of some sort of Lego vehicle. Maybe it's just me though. At first I thought these compared more closely to like the WPL vehicles, but the price on them is a decent amount higher. So I believe that the actual quality of the things that go in may also be higher. Can't really say. Maybe some of you also have tried them in the past and you'll have something to add about their quality. Capo has a new product they're releasing, and I'm going to let you try and figure out what this is from the photos that they posted as I put them up across the screen here. I had to scroll through all like 12 photos they had before I got to the end and was like, oh, that... I had no idea what I thought it was at first was not even close. It appears that these little things are adjustable in height, which I thought maybe I understood why until I got to the end and realized I was way off. But hopefully I've vamped enough now to get to the point where we'll show you the final photos so you can see how close your guess was. And there it is. A rechargeable, adjustable height, light up tool stand. I mean, I am all for overcomplicating projects. I don't hate this. I don't get it necessarily, but I don't hate it. It's overkill and ridiculous for no reason at all. But again, I get that sometimes. Your thoughts may vary. I also don't know the price because Capo won't put the price on anything. You have to like email them and then they send you an email back with an explanation of here's the price and like here's why. So I don't know what the price is. I'm guessing like 300 bucks. I could be wrong. I could be way off. I don't know. What would you pay for a adjustable height machined aluminum light up tool stand? Speaking of machined aluminum, Team Garage Hack just released their Scale Performance Winch. We've seen teases of this for quite some time, but it is now fully available and it's hit the website. These are a customizable winch in a number of ways. You can change the actual speed of the winch itself. You can either increase the torque or you can increase the speed. Either way, multiple options available for that. And then the mounting of it as well can be mounted in a number of different ways. So depending on the vehicle or application you're putting it in, if you need to package it in a special way, you can do it so that you can still access the winch line drum so that it feeds out wherever you need it to. This winch does require an external winch controller, but Team GarageHack is supplying that with it. It's from Precision RC Works, and it's capable of handling up to 4S LiPo. So speedy, powerful, both, depending on how you set this thing up and what voltage you decide to run. Pretty wild little winch. If you're interested in it, I'll put a link to Team GarageHack's website where you can find this. The Rocky Mountain High series from Matt and I is coming to a close because, like we mentioned earlier, we've got the event this coming weekend. Really looking forward to it. As far as videos for that go, I believe that I'm still going to try and get up a regular video this week for Thursday. Not guaranteed that it will happen, but I'm going to try still. And then there'll be a final video still with full payoff and course running, how all of that goes. So make sure and check that out. Or make sure and check the channel on Thursday. Hopefully I have something up. We'll see how that goes. But looking forward to the event. We are C-Rock Nationals in Morrison. If you have a chance to make it out there, come join us. Have some fun, whatever it may be. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing any of you who are going to make the trip. And next, Spektrum released a new combo, which is like kind of new, but kind of not. It's the S100 charger, which is a 100 watt USB-C powered charger, and that GAN, gallium nitride, however you want to say it, USB-C charging brick that they also had released recently. So that charger is only 60, or the charging block is only 65 watts. The charger itself is capable of 100 watts, but it's just a little smart charger, very simple. And this whole combo is very affordable. So the smart charging stuff is very nice, makes things easy, and I can see how it takes a lot of that guesswork out of it for people who aren't all that experienced. So this type of setup doesn't really bother me at all. I get why it's there, the popularity of it, the whole deal. But more than just that being the news story for the week, it spurred on my question for the week and what I wanted to do, since that was the last news story. But I want to know, what is your charging setup? Or what's your charging system? Like, do you have multiple chargers? Do you have one charger that does multiple batteries? Are you happy with your charging setup? Do you like the one that you have, or do you wish you had a different one or a better one? You still using the old timer one? You crank that thing up and let it go. I make the assumption that everyone's on LiPo, but I know that's still not the case. Some people just don't like the risk, or maybe they only run vintage. Obviously, that's a world that I don't fully understand, but drop your setup in the comments below. Again, what's your charger? Are you happy with it? Do you have multiples? Be interested to hear. Charging is always one of those things that, like, sometimes you just get, you don't necessarily, we spend all this time and money on these cars and things like that, and then the chargers, sometimes you're just like, I've got this old crappy one that I've had for 8 years. It still does a decent job. In the meantime, it's powering a car that you've got $1,500 worth of parts in. So, be interested to hear how similar of a story many of you have. Put them below. Always love reading your comments. My favorite part of this Scale News update. But with that, as always, I appreciate you guys for watching the show. Hit the like button if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you're not already. Consider joining the channel membership if you want to support the channel a little bit more. With that, as always, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.